Hey everybody! So today we're going to talk about Mercury. There's the card for it. And Mercury is the planetary ruler of both Gemini and Virgo. It's actually considered exalted in Virgo, meaning while it's at home in Gemini, it's comfortable there. It's in domicile. Not sure I pronounced that right. It is at its highest functioning in Virgo. It's probably the most comfortable there. It probably feels the best there. If planets have feelings. It is considered to be in fall in Pisces, meaning Mercury probably has the hardest time expressing what it wants to express in Pisces. Pisces is more imaginative and dreamlike energy. And Mercury, which is the mind, does have a harder time, can have a more challenging time expressing what it needs to express there in that sign. It's considered to be in detriment in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is opposite Gemini, where it is at home. And that has to do with, Sagittarius is more about higher learning, and Mercury and Gemini tend to deal more with basic, logical, rational learning. So I think that's probably one of the main reasons why it's not as comfortable in Sagittarius. So on to a little bit about Mercury. Mercury is, you could think of Mercury as the mind. That's something that Mercury needs to express. This one I found to be pretty universal regardless of what's going on. Your mind does need to be expressed by Mercury. Now, as far as, how you do that depends on what sign it falls in and what area of life you do it in. The easiest or the best or feel most inclined to is by house. Mercury is logic. It is reason. It is considered to be the lower mind. It's not a very nice, doesn't seem like the nicest way to put that. But I think what's meant by that is, Mercury is more about foundational learning, foundational communication. Whereas on the opposite end, Jupiter is more about higher learning and things of that nature, and the assimilation of information. Mercury takes information in and communicates it to other people, whereas Jupiter is more the higher assimilation of that information. So lower mind, there's probably a better way to say that, but that's, I think, kind of why it gets called that. Mercury is language, definitely, because that goes hand in hand with communication. And communication here, we could be talking about verbal communication. We could be talking about written communication, because Mercury is very dexterous as well, deals a lot with the hands. So definitely written or typed communication as well, not just verbal, but definitely verbal too. A big thing that, and I know I mentioned this in the Mercury retrograde video that I did, but perception is definitely a Mercury thing. And I don't think it's something that gets, obviously people mention it. I'm not saying nobody mentions it. It just doesn't seem to be something that's touched on enough. And I think it's really important. The way that you know, what you perceive, that is a Mercury thing. It really is. You know, how you perceive it is whatever sign, you know, Mercury falls in, but perception is such a big deal to Mercury. When you're doing like chart analysis, whether it's your own or somebody else's, don't leave that one out, that keyword out as a possibility. It's not always it's not always what Mercury wants to express. But I find that this one does often fit with Mercury when you're looking at a chart. This one often does fit. So, you know, somebody say with with Mercury and Libra, they might perceive things in a more balanced way, in a more diplomatic or harmonious way, whereas somebody with, say, Mercury in Scorpio might perceive things as more intense, more deep, more, you know, things of that nature. So perception's a big one here. Working memory. This obviously comes in with, you know, taking in, when you're first taking in information and learning it, not assimilating it to make it your own, but when you're first taking it in. Let me see. Reactions to things. This also goes hand in hand with this also goes along with perception, you know. It's not reactions in the way that Mars might act on something or react on something, but it's more like our reactions to what we've learned when we communicate it back. That's a Mercury thing. Let me see. There's definitely youthfulness here. Mercury is very, very youthful energy. As far as planets go, it is. Especially, you know, with Gemini tending to rule like education below, anything below university. Obviously, this is at a time when you're young in your life, and since Mercury rules, is a planetary ruler of Gemini, I think that's probably where the youthfulness comes in to play. Mercury is very, very youthful energy. There's also a duality to it. Because Mercury Mercury is changeable. Not in like the way that the moon can be changeable. It's a little different. But Mercury is changeable energy. Depending on, you know, what's going on in the chart, connections made, that changeable quality or that duality can come out, and it can kind of make the mind a little bit more scattered, perhaps. There can be a scattered quality to it, depending on how much or how often Mercury expresses fluctuations in that nature. So, but again, that depends on the house it falls in, the sign it's in, and all the aspects that it makes. Curiosity. That's another one. I almost missed it. Curiosity. You know, Mercury wants to express curiosity. What you're curious about, you know, what area, you know, that's probably by like the house it falls in, and how you're curious, how Mercury expresses curiosity by the sign that it falls. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think I touched on most everything on the card, or not everything, but I think the big hitting ones that need to be definitely taken into consideration. And again, when you're reading when you're doing your chart weaving. Some of these may fit for your Mercury. You might find that your Mercury wants to express all of those things. You might find that only a few of them your Mercury wants to express. And that is, it very much depends on what the chart looks like. So, yeah. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can find us on Instagram at Let's Fuck with Astrology. I am at Saturn Season Astrology on Instagram. Natalie is at Apaturno Astrology on Instagram. If you're watching this on Instagram, you can find us on YouTube by searching Let's Fuck with Astrology into the YouTube search bar. If you do the Reddit thing, you can find us on the subreddit Let's Fuck with Astrology. And if you're interested in the star cards, you can go to letsfuckwithastrology.com/star-cards. I think I got that right this time. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later.